This is a quick introduction how I use MindManager and Camtasia to document our CAD system and also share that structure of documentation and how the applications work with IT and other interested parties within the business. Basically cover documentation, how to access it, how to view it, user information, application information, system support, training, that sort of thing is covered here. Documentation's created as MindManager maps, which is generally used for meetings or brainstorming, but I actually use it for creating the documentation. The reason for this is it's a very flexible application, easy to edit and easy to export to HTML to share on intranet or internet with their own free viewer or as an Office export for Word. The primary reason is its flexibility and ease of editing. You can see here the HTML version of the document that I'm using to present. There's a map view, a menu view which has collapsing menus, and an index view which basically like a sitemap. As it functions largely as the map itself in the application would work, with clickable hyperlinks and all that sort of thing. Getting back to the actual real documentation, created as MindManager maps but linked together, so each submap covers almost like a chapter of a book or a system or a process. This is really flexible, keeps the file sizes down, and it's a nice way to work within the application itself. MindManager has tools for managing these multiple maps and exporting them in one sort of operation, so there's no great penalty for doing it that way. The files are just literally document files or MindManager map files stored on the network, and I store the native file plus an equivalent Word export for non-MindManager. Here you can see the master map. Basically information is revealed by expanding the topics. The further you go, the more detail you get. The little icons act as hyperlinks to web or local resources, and you can link basically any sort of information. Just running into the applications, you can incorporate things like organisation charts. They show the team structure and in much the way as a Visio or type diagram would use, but a lot easier to edit, I find. And you can also use it to provide summary information on things like applications. So this is a summary of the CAD applications we use, why we use it, a bit of its history, what versions. You can see the little bubbles show what's current and where we came from. This is again a related application, so it's used for localization and some custom tools, and you can cover what they do. The little note icons you saw pop up there cover extended notes, which we'll see a bit later on. This is a sister application to our main CAD application. You can see here I've forgotten to add that we use it for refrigeration design or system design. It's literally this easy to edit them, so this update was done live during the recording of this presentation. Again, it's a structured document format, and you can see things like hierarchy. So here we've got three types of CAD viewing or markup software. You can see that the old one was replaced by a new one, The icons convey information, so you could use that for filtering, and also are usable as like web links or application links. So this goes straight to the relevant website for full detail. Saves a lot of writing and duplication of existing content. MindManager is the source for the documents. This presentation was recorded with Camtasia Studio. Another feature is you can embed email contacts, so that would generate an email to the person relevant to that topic, and also process. So in this case it's a hyperlink to another process to follow depending on the sort of fault a user would encounter. Here's the notes that I mentioned earlier. They are viewable as a large tooltip or as a separate notes pane, and these export out to Word in the format you see them. Showing how it can use to structure information. Here's the contact for our dealer for support, and again it takes you straight to the website with contact details. You could link into the exact page you want. This is showing how we structure the CAD projects or drawings that make up our stores, and again you can cover sort of documentation aspects, what to do, how to do it, but also process or structure. In this case you can see the naming of what's set up in a template file, giving the logic and the workflow that's intended to follow. In terms of showing how the applications interact, again this links to the standards files, and you can see here the Word export of the file. This shows the relationship between a script file stored on the network, the image file that's stored with it, and then as the user would see it in the application, it's seen as a tool within the application. Camtasia allows you to show that relationship, so we can see the bitmap there, we can see the tool itself and the link back to the network. Saves a lot of writing and just gives a good overview of how the information is structured. Again, here you can see an XML file that creates a package of tools used by the CAD system. The little eye drop shows the method to add them, and again back in the application you can show how those tools are related and how they're used. So in this case the tool's creating a concrete floor slab with the material applied and the correct thickness and all that sort of thing. So it shows the process, the documentation and the actual use of the tool. It's helpful for process in that you can see here we've got only one style of concrete floor in that drawing, and you can show here the tool can be used to update existing objects and import styles, not just as a creation tool. You can easily show how an object can have embedded intelligence or preset sizes, so it just a lot more intuitive than showing it in documentation form. Again, extended data is shown in use rather than being talked about, so you can actually see adding properties for like building or owner or whatever to a door or an object within the application. I also maintain a database which is like a local knowledge base. When I find a fix for something that happens or may happen more than once, I'll actually keep a link to it and maybe even brief notes about it in case the link disappears. And again, for building a new machine from a raw CAD PC, covers basically step-by-step configuration instructions. For the CAD applications, I also maintain a similar structure with installation instructions, but also configuration setups captured. So the process that I go through to create the network build is captured in these, along with the process to install it and where all the files that are used by that install. Again, it's a hierarchical system and it's useful for things like checklists. In this case I'm storing settings both before and after alterations, so you can revert to defaults, and also storing things like readmes and relevant information. To share it, most of the stuff is shared by using the native free viewer, but it's also available on the intranet as a HTML export. You can see here the map or the export view of the support document we were looking at earlier, and it's a really nice way to work. What you saw was MindManager documentation captured with Camtasia. The CAD application was Architectural Desktop, and the intranet was our company intranet, IC Red. Thanks for watching. Hope this was of interest.